here's what we're going to do this time, right? I'm going to record my reaction like I normally do, and then I'm going to sit here and stew on it for a bit off camera, and then I'm going to come back with a bit more of a formulated thought. I'm going to try to do this a little differently. I'm not super happy with how these have been coming out, even though they haven't even been going up. It's part of why. I'm going to make it better. That said, I have a feeling this is one of the last, if not the last, chapter of EGGHEAD, so I'm excited to see where this goes. Let's watch this. Or read this. We're not watching anything. You're watching, I suppose. The Void Fortnight. Yeah, that makes me feel even more enticed with this chapter. Enemies forced to share Odin. Everybody's knocked the fuck out. That's insane. Greater than red hairs. Wow. That is definitely the strongest hockey we've ever seen. They're going! It's happening! That's something we've waited to see for a long time. Just that right there. Wait, is he alive? Or is that just where his body is? Is he talking to his corpse? Like, and now we're getting a random flashback? What? That's a thing? Oh, brains in offline stealth mode? So they knew a week ahead of time? So is this all but confirming that they have Uranus? Yeah, that's fair. He's over here like, I'm a fool, only a greed lets their greed run amok, and I made mine a person. Like, yeah, that's kind of a problem. So this is the formation of the message. Really? Probably with the water levels. Yep, so he is dead. They erased their own... Wow. This happened right as they made landfall? They knew all of this? Oh, shit. Well, I think that was it for EGGHEAD. I think next chapter might just mark the end of the start of a new arc. This was just my reaction, which was probably not that useful, but it's fine. It could have been something important, you never know. And there were some interesting bits in there. Alright everybody, so I'm back. Got a fresh shave. I'm looking fresh. It's been about a week. I decided I was going to just wait a little bit before I actually said anything, because I didn't really have a lot to say at the time. Now I do. This was one of the few chapters where I really felt I needed to bounce off of the community a little bit, because there really wasn't that much to say, but it's not that nothing happened. You know what I mean? So basically, instead of just going over everything like I do most of the time, where it's one chapter at a time, even though everything's still delayed a lot longer, but it's fine, I've decided to go ahead and group them together. So now you're going to watch my reaction to my numbers. Why are my numbers hard? 1124. That's what you're watching the reaction to. And then we're going to talk about both the last two chapters. So let's get right into it. Best Friend. That's the name of the chapter? Alright. Best Friend, sure. A YouTube channel did a collab with One Piece? What does that even mean? I'm looking this up.
One eternity later.
Okay, that was a weird deep dive I just went on from there. Anyway, let's move on. Oh, the news. Okay. Of course, he's taking advantage of the situation. That's what he does. It's fucking so sad. Wait. Who's apologizing? Was it a Kainu that just apologized and called him brother? Yeah, she's the only one now. 5 bunches of grapes. He's barely eating by Luffy standards, but that's funny. Yeah, that's what I figured. Because their brains are still in the brain. Like, if the brain's alive, they're alive. Luffy just got over it that quick, huh? Okay. Is that Shanks? I can't believe they're about to go to Elbaf. That was actually the last chapter of EGGHEAD. For sure. That's crazy. We got to see Borsalino show emotion. That's so much. Okay. It's time to talk about these two chapters. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to speak from the heart, and I'm going to scroll down through the previous chapter real quick and go through every little thing point by point and say anything I have to say on it, go through theories. I'm just going to do it all disorderly because it's more fun that way. With chapter 1123, The Void Fortnight, we get, people are trying to, call in and get the presence of all these Marines, but everybody's knocked out fucking cold after Joy Boy's hockey, which is just insane. Except for apparently Boa's Seraphim, who is, trying to wake everybody up and telling them Straw Hats were escaping, but what are they gonna do? They're all fucking asleep. We get a fucking crazy drop of a line, because the Giants, who have seen Shanks' hockey, outright proclaim that it's stronger than Shanks' hockey. That's amazing. That's crazy. It's a power scaling for Joy Boy a little bit. We get Luffy calling out to the Iron Giant because he kind of gets it. And then we get the sad scene of, the Iron Giant just kind of crumbling away. I think it might be done for, and that is sad. Rest in it. Rest Rest in peace. It's kind of fucking dark when you think about it, though, because Luffy's just kind of laughing at the fucking guy dying. And then, of course, we get the we're off to Elbaf, which is what made me think originally that we were already going to be done with Elbaf, but clearly that wasn't the case with the next chapter. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. We get, you know, Bonnie just fucking cuddling Kuma, which is obviously the case. I mean, this is what she's wanted this entire time. It's very nice. And Luffy finally drops out of gear 5th. Then we get a scene where Sanji walks up to Vegapunk's corpse, and he, like, remembers a conversation they had previously where Vegapunk basically dropped on him that he thought something important was going to happen if he died. And it's like, okay. I still think this whole death thing is weird. Like, he could have survived, but why didn't he? Then again, reading the last chapter, I guess they just wanted to pull this whole, well, they're still technically alive thing. It's fine. I like it. It's fine. But I understand if some people don't. We get the whole part where they went back 2 weeks prior. The fortnight that we're talking about, the titled fortnight of the chapter, that we basically find out that they knew, like, already that York was a traitor, that she was taking the energy of the fucking thing, and that she was most likely the one who provided the Lucia power, like the power that destroyed the Lucia, not the thing itself, but you know, the power to the thing. They even throw out the line that they think the world government might have an ancient weapon. I still think that could be a red herring, personally, but I wouldn't be surprised if they had Uranus. Apparently, they could put their brains into stealth mode, which is like, what does that even mean? How would you not know that your other brain is in stealth mode? Like, how does that work? How do you hide from the other Vegapunks like that? And if that's the case, is that what York's doing too? Like, I don't understand. Wouldn't the memories, like, not be uploaded if you're in stealth mode? Or would they automatically be fake memories? And if that's the case, is York just in stealth mode, or is she replacing her memories like they say in this chapter? I don't understand. It doesn't make a lot of sense if you ask me. They kind of got a little convoluted with this part. And I don't know why they needed it. Like, why did they need to have been prepared for this? Just to explain when it was filmed? I find it interesting that they delivered that power on a sea beast, though. One of the mechanized sea beasts. Like, that's not what I would have expected. I don't know what I would have expected, but it kind of explains a lot. You know, power him up with overpower. And then, like, basically drain him of his life when he gets to the world government, which is, like, fucked up, but, you know? And they get to keep the memory. I'm getting a little ahead of myself here, but they get to keep the memory about the actual fact that their Void Century research was discovered. Which I find interesting. Like, why not just remember most of it? They basically said, because they didn't want to, like, tip York off, but York didn't seem to know at all, based on what we saw here. And even if she did, what about it? They were already gonna die. It's weird. I just don't like the idea that he needed to die, because I really don't think he did. And I do find it interesting that they kind of hinted at what was dropped by Lilith in this next chapter. When Shaka said, what exactly constitutes death for someone like us? Like, they're not dead, technically, because Vegapunk's brain is still in there. So Vegapunk also talks about the cloud technology being important, which I'm not surprised. I mean, if the world's sinking, being able to build floating islands is probably pretty important. You get to see them record, which I think is, you know, just more of the same. I mean, we've been getting this recording for chapters and chapters. I'm so glad this newest one is finally away from it. I do think the idea that they hid the transponder snail in the robot was actually really, really smart. Because they really didn't expect that. And nobody in the fan base did either. People were thinking about it. They probably would have checked the surrounding islands or nearby islands where they could have gotten to a reasonable amount of time, you know? I guess keeping it on the island was still a dangerous idea. But we don't know how, like, far transponder snails have to be to work. We don't know all the details. I mean, clearly not, like, they could be pretty far away if they were able to broadcast to the whole world, but yeah. So yeah, they put themselves through the memory loss, and I think I heard another YouTuber say this, I think it was Teching or somebody, but imagine waking up in the brain erasure table. Like, you made this thing, you know what it is. That's an immediate, oh no, what the fuck is happening kind of moment, you know? What did I do? What's going on this time? And then he literally leaves a note telling him to kill himself. Like, what? I do like that he says he wants them to be the ones to find the One Piece. Don't really know why specifically, but I like that. And now on to talking about chapter 1124. I know I'm kind of moving quick. I tend to, but I really didn't have a lot to say about the last one. And I don't know if I will here. There's a couple of things, but yeah. The cover page, which I didn't even talk about in my reaction, is Yamato foiling a kidnapping, which is interesting. It is nice art. I like that. So we get this whole scene with Morgans where he's talking to Vivi, And, you know, she's basically getting on him for basically putting in the paper that the Straw Hats just brutally murdered Vegapunk, which is like, yeah, that's fair, because it's obvious lies. They both know that. They're just trying to get a good scoop. And we get fucking Jawboy. Jawboy? Munch Man? The guy? The dude? Cannot remember his name. Wapple. Thank you. Me. We get him talking about, don't upset the guy, he's keeping us safe. That was a bad Wapple impression. You get what I'm saying. Morgan's like tries to threaten Vivi or something, but it doesn't seem to have much weight to it, which I find hilarious. But I do like the scene where he's like, oh, look at all the stories we have to pick from. Emperor Blackbeard versus Trafalgar Law, Shanks versus Kid, and Straw Hat killing Vegapunk, which is, it's like, yeah, there was a lot that's happened recently. And they don't even know about, like, all of the, I guess he does, but they can't post about all of the Reverie stuff. The world's been insane. And then we get fucking Kainu basically immediately calling out to the Marines, trying to find out if everybody's dead, and fucking Kizaru picks it up, starts talking to them about everything that's happened on EGGHEAD. And in that area, we also get a scene I didn't notice on my first read. I'm noticing it now, looking back. I kind of just glanced right over it. We get to see Sentomaru on a boat, getting away, shedding tears for, you know, the loss of his grandfather figure. Killed by a friend. Like, it's dark, it's sad. Kizaru doesn't want to be the guy that tells Akainu that everybody got away, a lot of Marines died, there are tons of people who now know about the Gorosei. I don't know if Akainu knows about that, but yeah, it seems probably. All of that. It's just it's a mess. So he's like, I'll let the youngsters give that to you. Yeah, you better. You don't want to hear his shit. And then he immediately says, like, you better not be slacking off. And oh my god, I actually relate to the feeling that you can tell Kizaru gets here, where it's like, well, obviously I haven't had to become my best friend, it's not like that. That feeling in your gut where it's like somebody says something to you, and it's like, bro, you did not just say that right now, of all times. And that's exactly what he went through in this moment, where he's like, bro, have you ever had to kill your best friend? So shut the fuck up, bro. I keep using the F word, I'm sorry. It's honestly really sad. We get all these flashbacks of them together, and for the first time, we get to see him really show emotion, even though he still has the glasses on. But you can tell that's what this is. And we get to see him fucking, I can't tell if it's sweat or tears or both, just breaking down, yelling. The guy who's always cool and calm and slow, just screaming. And then we get, that was my bad, brother. Just watch your mouth. This could be either side of the conversation. I really don't get it. Did Kizaru apologize because Akainu is his superior? Or did Akainu apologize because he gets it? I don't know. I want to know. I really do. I really don't know how to interpret that scene. And then Luffy is in a depression because Vegapunk is dead. He didn't get to succeed. Everybody is commenting about how they all probably should have died in that hellscape, which is like, yeah, probably. And then Zoro has the gall to say he's pathetic as an emperor just because he's sat over an old man. Like, he's pathetic as an emperor. You would be dead, bro. You're the one who was stuck fighting Lucci for like 4 chapters. It was a lot more than 4. You get my point. I'm not exactly, I've always loved Zoro, okay? But this is not exactly the time to be a Zoro fan with him doing shit like that and saying things like this. He's still cool. He's a good character, honestly. I'm fucking around mostly. I keep using that F word. I'm sorry. I just can't. No, I guess that's just me. I'm sorry. I want to be more family friendly, but it's hard. We get to see Lilith wake up, and she's awake. That's what waking up does to you. It wakes you up. So she wakes up. You know, I just smacked my mic. I'm so sorry. She wakes up. Everybody's, you know, all happy that she's awake. She immediately tries to get, like, clicks a button on her, like, ear thing. She's trying to get some kind of signal or something. I don't know what she was trying to do. Probably something related to the other Vegapunks or something. Or interconnecting with the brain or something. We get to see the giant ship room with, like, the massive shields. They're like tiny specks. They got, like, a ladder going up to the staircase. And there's, like, a chest in the corner. And even the light would be, like, a small building to them. It's insane. They apologize to Lilith for not being able to save everybody else. And she kind of has a really hard time for a second and then is immediately fine. And then she's like, hey, I'm hungry. At first I was like, that's weird. But then I think, you know, well, they pointed out, but it's like she's now disconnected from York from all this. York was the one doing all the eating. I don't know if Lilith's ever fucking eaten. If she has, it's been a long time. Then they go in to get the food, and Luffy's just sadly eating. And I love the joke they make where it's like, he hasn't been himself. He's only eaten 5 whole bundles of massive grapes. And then we get the drop that everyone's technically alive. And I love everybody's faces in that scene. It's a very One Piece thing. But what the fuck is Usopp? Like, what is that? Even if they're functionally dead, they say. Which means, you know, body's dead. And she's just like, oh, so don't be so sad. You kept your promise to me. And then Luffy's immediately happy again and goes to party with the giants. Like, that was a quick change. And of course, the chapter, much like other chapters that are the end of an arc, ends, well, a lot of chapters regardless of the end of the arc, ends with Luffy proclaiming himself to want to be the king of the pirates. Not want, but he's going to. He says, I'm definitely going to. And so the ship set off northeast. I don't have a lot of theories to talk about. I think I said most of my feelings on everything as I went. But there's one thing to theorize, besides just all of Elbaf, which is most of what I'm about to talk about. And that is who's waiting for them in this. This could be a lot of people, right? It could be Shanks. That's the first that comes to mind. We'll talk about why. It could be a giant, like that Loki guy we've heard of. It could be another pirate. But last we saw, Shanks was on the island. Luffy is an emperor now. And just fought the Gorosei even. Which is something we don't even know if Shanks has ever done. Let alone even Roger. We don't know who, besides the Joy Boy, has ever done that. So, if there's any time in the modern, like, what I'm trying to say is I could see Luffy actually meeting Shanks soon in Elbaf. And that would be awesome. A moment we've all waited for like, literally the entire series. Being paid off next arc. That's my bingo card prediction, you know? And I think that's Shanks right there. But the tone of it is a little ominous. Like, come on, man. It could be playful, it could not. It's hard to say. It's not like they tell us the tone of it. It could also be a God's Night. That's a thing I've been thinking. Now that we're at this point, I think that's who we're going to start seeing, and that they're going to have to face God's Knights. And there's a good chance that one could be like hiding on Elbaf or something. But it could also be Shanks. And I think it might be Shanks. Especially because we only see the one arm. The other one's blocked by the text. They did that on purpose. What else is going to happen in Elbaf? We're going to learn about Loki. We're going to see all kinds of giants. We're probably going to see people fight giants, which is going to be awesome. Because we've seen it before, but never really seen it focused on. You know what I mean? Not heavily. We're going to meet Saul again. That's going to be a great moment for Robin. We're going to learn a lot more about the Sun God lore, probably, because that's literally their religion. We might learn more about Big Mom. We might learn more about the Buccaneers. We're going to get so many things, potentially. And Usopp is going to have a good time. I don't know. I hope he gets character growth here. Or at least gets a fight again, like in Dressrosa and Thriller Bark and, you know, all those fights. It's probably going to be the start of the Final War, right? Like, this was probably the start of the Final War, if we're being honest. But it's literally the land of war. So it would make sense for the actual final war to be, like, officially beginning there. I don't know if it'll happen next arc, but I do think Blackbeard is going to get Pluton. I don't know why, but I think so. Because then we have, like, the world government with Uranus, we have Blackbeard with Pluton, and we have the Straw Hats with Shirahoshi, Poseidon. It would equally distribute the powers in a way that makes that war more interesting. One thing a lot of people have been talking about, I think, is bounties. A lot of people want to know if they're going to get bounties. Probably, especially now that we know that they're being blamed for killing Vegapunk. And the Gorosei know that they're, like, the biggest threat, because there's now so much danger from them. Luffy is probably one of the most wanted and scary men in the world to the government right now. And that's also why I think it won't be that long before Luffy finally meets his dad. I know it's a hard thing to say. But with the final war coming, it's definitely going to happen. Like, this has been something that's gotta happen since the beginning of the series. But his dad didn't do shit. He still hasn't done shit. So it's really hard to say when that'll happen. Do you guys think there'll be like a Valhalla thing? Like a equal to Valhalla in their ideology with the giants? Because they're clearly Viking inspired. Be interesting. I'm very, very, very interested in seeing the whole war culture and the idea behind the giants that we've heard this whole time. Really, I think it's going to feel even more cartoony, but in a good way. That said, I guess that's everything I've got to say for now. It's more than I normally do anymore, but it's still short in comparison to a lot of other people's videos on this. And you know what? That's fine. I'm just going to stick true to me. I'm not going to sit here and be an echo chamber unless it's natural for me. You know, if it's just the natural take I get, it's the natural take I get. But I'm not trying to sit here and just go over all the same shit. Unless I have something interesting to say, I'm not going to add on to it, really. Nothing more, at least, than I already have, which is the bare bones. And maybe a little more. I don't know. I hope you enjoy it. But, all that said, I guess this is where it's going to end for now. So, as I said in the last few videos, because I still haven't posted them all, please, if you know any way to make these more intriguing for you, more fun to watch, make my voice sound better, I don't know, anything like that, let me know down below in the comments. And if you like the video and watch this far, go ahead and hit a like and, you know, hit that subscribe button while you're at it. So anyways, guys, I'll see you in the next one.